Coming up next on the CHGO Cubs Podcast, presented by Toyota and Bet365. Cubs lose in Atlanta. Shota struggles early on and then sort of recovers, but the offense was just absolutely silent in Atlanta. Plus, Daniel Palencia to the injured list. How worried are you? Join us for the show next. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? This is the CHGO Cubs Podcast, driven by Toyota. Let's go places and Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Use code CHGO365 at sign up. Welcome to the show. Some of you probably watching the Bears game.
CBS's FBI tonight, the new episode of America's
Perfect timing. We're
Got
on
Talent?
at halftime. We're on at halftime. For those of you listening in podcast form, we're here to update you about the baseball game that maybe you didn't watch last night. And frankly, we did you a favor. We watched it for you because it wasn't pretty. 4-1 Braves. We have 18 left in the regular season. Again, division is over. Again, still going to make the playoffs, Joey.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to every sicko in the chat right now. We'd like to hand out our sickos of the week. I think we got 44 in there. If you comment on this in this video, if you like this video, you are officially a sicko of the week. Bobby Blanco, that makes you a 2-time winner because the Chicago Bears are on right now. Yeah, unfortunately, Luke, Shota Imanaga in that opening drive, he just didn't run the ball. And wait, hold on, we're talking baseball right now. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting everything a little mixed up.
You know what? Before we even get to that, though, because this is more important than a Cubs game with 18 to go, because a lot of these games right now are just about getting healthy. We do want to point out something we're doing here in September. Before we even get to the baseball,
yes,
and the way the Vikings kicked a field goal right before the half, before we get to either one of those, think about your favorite athlete, okay? Every single one of them had a head coach, a mentor, or a family member who believed in them first. Someone who saw their potential and gave them the confidence to go for it. Maybe it's Ben Johnson for Caleb Williams. We'll find out. Well, Big Brothers and Big Sisters does this every single day. They create those life-changing connections for kids in our community. The entire month of September here at CHGO, we are partnering with Big Brothers, Big Sisters of America to help fund their mission. Your donation ensures another child gets a mentor, a role model, a champion in their corner. You could be that champion. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can donate directly by hitting the donation button right on your screen. If you're listening on the podcast, please head to BBB, that's 3 B's and an S, .org/allcity. Let's help ignite the potential of the next generation. Again, podcast listeners, it's BBBS.org/allcity. Appreciate anything anybody can give. I know money's tough for a lot of people right now, so if you can afford to do it, please help out in any way possible. Okay, back to Cubs baseball. Maybe we'll talk Bears later. WWE ringside guy says Luke Suzuki is trash. Not happy. A lot of people not happy with Seiya Suzuki. The offense is to blame for today's loss, not Shota. You want to start with Shota, or you want to start with the offense?
Let's start with Shota as a quick aside to, I think Ringside Guy also said first half, and then the second half, he's always terrible. Last year in September, he hit .329 with a .908 OPS, Seiya Suzuki. So still plenty of time. Yeah, so still plenty of time to turn around. Let's stick with Shota just for the moment right now. Shota is a guy who will go out there and give you an honest effort every single time. Has he been at his best the last 4, 5, 6 turns?
No.
I would say no. I think a little bit of the problem tonight is, again, the home run ball. We all know that's a little bit of Shota's kryptonite. Shota has allowed 8 home runs over his last 6 starts. I find that mildly concerning, and it is not a great bedfellow with an offense right now that's trying to get healthy and, frankly, just hasn't really been hitting home runs lately. So if you're telling me if the Chicago Cubs could have gotten a pop here and there over the fence, maybe this would have been more of a competitive game. But at this point right now, Shota is It's a little bit of a go along to get along, but it isn't terrible, Luke. He's not putting up bad starts. He's not getting blown out of these games. He's not costing the bullpen. He's not taxing the bullpen with these starts. But again, that first inning was a little tough, and obviously the home run ball bit him again tonight.
Yeah, he's. I think it was Bruce Levine tweeted during the game after the first home run. He said 24 homers in 22 games. I think he's like 13th or 14th for most. 23 allowed is Tyone. Both of them struggle with home runs, right?
Yeah.
Shota starts to bother me a little bit more because I picture him throwing in, like, obviously big playoff games, right? Like, I don't see that maybe for Tyone because of the emergence of Horton. Maybe Tyone pitches in a game, but we'll see. I know Shota's going to. And I like the fact at least that he had no walks.
Yeah.
Because then the home runs are solo home runs. But I'll tell you what, that they almost had 2 home runs in the first inning off him. Harris hit a ball down the line that they called a home run, which I don't know how the umpire, I believe it was C.B. Buckner, was like, yeah, home run. And everybody looked like, what? Even Harris stopped at home plate and went, damn. And then he kind of turned around and started. And then he goes, oh, wait, you think it's a home run? Okay, I'll start trotting. Obviously, it was overturned, and that's great. But I'll just say that the ball was crushed. And it is starting to concern me a little bit that I know that's who he is, but we've never seen him in a playoff appearance. And home runs scare me in the playoffs. And so I guess he is who he is, but it's why I am starting to let that. We'll see what happens tomorrow with Cade Horton, but that's why that is starting to creep into my mind more and more that maybe you do start Cade Horton.
Well, I mean, certainly
game one. I know we talk about that a lot, but every time I see Horton, I think more and more, man, they got to pitch this guy as many times as possible in the postseason. And every time I see Shota give up a home run, I also start to think the same thing. I'm not there yet, but I'm creeping closer every time I see the two of them pitch.
Well, I think two things can be true, right? Let's start with the first one, that when any Cubs pitcher, even Shota Imanaga, gives up 3 runs in the first inning, the way our offense has been going over the last week, we go, uh-oh. Mm-hmm. We go, oh, man, 3 runs can feel like 6 or 7 runs, especially over the last, I would say, maybe 6 or 7 games. But what do they call, what do we designate a quality start, Luke? We qualify it as 6 innings, right? And 3 runs or less.
Yeah.
So for Shota Imanaga tonight,
okay,
6 runs, 3 innings. Last week against Atlanta, 6 runs, 3 innings. Last before
6 innings, 3 runs.
6 innings, 3 runs. Excuse me.
I was really getting concerned. When
7 innings, 3 runs. 7 innings, 2 runs. 7 innings, 1 run. 6 2/3, 3 runs. 6 2/3, 1 run. So this is not by any stretch a bad run for Shota, but I'm with you. If you want to just go off the eyeball test when we talk about Shota Imanaga versus Cade Horton, it is a different feeling, right? When Cade Horton when the Cade Horton is on the bump, use whatever cliche that you want about him being nails on the mound and him shutting an opponent down, him pitching a gem, whatever it is that you want to throw out there. I'm leaning more Cade Horton right now. Shota is still doing the job, but again, to what you're alluding to when we talk about the postseason, and you want to talk about top of the rotation guys, game 1 and game 2 in a 5-game series with the wild card, maybe Cade Horton is slowly making a case for himself. Maybe he is perhaps in the next start or two getting the inside track. I'm not casting aside Shota Imanaga because he is going to give you an honest, decent effort every time out there. And if you score 4 runs a game, you got a great shot at winning a Shota Imanaga start. Tonight was not the case. And the home runs do bug me, especially in the postseason, especially if you allow traffic on the base paths. But when it comes to the sure shot, what is the more bankable commodity right now? I'm with you. Cade Horton definitely has the inside track on that, even though I do think Shota, Shota's been a good pitcher. He's been solid all the way through. And unfortunately, we also have not been winning his starts recently.
Well, a little support could have helped him out for sure.
I think it makes us now over his last 8 starts. I think we're 2-6 in Shota Imanaga starts. And if you roll the clocks back a year ago, Shota Day was win day. That was fly the W. Put it up even before they throw first pitch because we're going out there and we're going to win. Just really hasn't been that case over the last 8 starts, handful of starts from Shota. So we'll get to that offense for sure. And I'm not worried about Shota Imanaga, but you're right. Cade Horton is slowly creeping up as, who's my guy? Who am I turning to right now? And it definitely is feeling like
If you ask me who I'm excited about on the Cubs right now, you have a tough time with the offense. Cade Horton is the most exciting thing going with the Cubs right now.
Oh, by far.
I mean, it's not even close. So I'm not necessarily worried or disappointed or angry or any of those emotions with Shota. I do think he does a really nice job of getting it under control, right? Like, he'll give up a couple of those fly ball home runs, but then he'll give you 5 good innings after it. And he does respond to it well. He figures it out. It's just if he's going to give up a home run, 2 home runs or a home run like that, he's got to keep doing what he's doing. And that is absolutely no walks.
And if we want to levy a little criticism, and I think it would be a little fair towards Shota Imanaga tonight, if he is maybe that de facto ace and maybe Cade Horton is making a run at it right now, tonight would have been a really great night for Shota Imanaga to come out and twirl 5 or 6 shutout innings, something along those lines, and just holding down this Atlanta Braves offense. And the fact that he gave up 3 runs in the first inning, that's what kind of was a little deflating about the whole thing, because, again, our offense hasn't been playing well. You want him to go out there. Tucker's still not in the lineup. So the fact that he wasn't able to go out there and shut them down right off the jump, I think that's what maybe is the disappointing thing.
And they hit him hard.
A little criticism is deserved.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that all unfolds. Our guy Niren is in the live YouTube chat here at the all-new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell a total stranger, please. He's been asking if this is a dead team. And he's kind of been suggesting that, hey, it's 8 months when you count spring training, and in October, they're not built for this. Niren, the most recent comment says, if you have a dead team, bring up Casey Moballer and let them show what they can do. I'm not against that in resting some guys. You gotta get guys that are at bats and stuff, but I kind of think that's what Craig Counsell's sort of been doing with the rotation, right? Like, you started to see, like, Horton's not going to pitch 7 innings tomorrow.
No. Right? I don't want him to.
No, I don't either.
Don't want him to.
And it's why I would have liked to seen Palencia come out a little bit earlier when he didn't have it the other day. Like, I don't know that they're a dead team. They are kind of just playing meh baseball. And a dead team right now, if that's what you want to call it, it's more like a 500 team. It doesn't necessarily. Somebody said, if you believe they're doing anything in the postseason, listen, eye test and heart test tell me the same thing that you're believing, that they're not going to do a lot in the postseason. But you don't know in short series. Like, you just don't know.
Well,
they could be quickly out of the postseason, or they could be on in the second round. That's just why playoff baseball is funny.
Sure, and look, the offense was impotent tonight. And if you want to call something dead, I think the offense was dead tonight in this game. The only thing that I push back on is that we literally were doing shows last week when the Cubs ripped off 8 out of 10.
Right.
And look, 8 out of 10 can get you some places in October, right? And I understand that this team hasn't exactly grabbed this season by the throat, by the scruff, and wrestled it down to the ground and pulled it down and put it in his pocket. I totally get that. And this team is a little bit more banged up than we would like right now. But I'm just saying, right now, on September, what is it, 8th, 9th? September 8th or 9th? I'm sorry, I'm losing it. Thank you, Sarah. On the 1s and 2s, rocking it, doing the math for me. On September 8th, it's just not the time to declare this team dead, because I promise you, there is plenty of time. They got 9 games, got 8 more games coming up against the Braves, the Rays, and the Pirates. They can rip off another great stretch, and then they can go in the tank, and then they can rebound again. This season can go in a lot of different directions right now. The fact that they're simply just treading water and not flatlining, and that gets to the dead category. If you're at 500, that is not a dead team, in my opinion. They are treading water. They have to get healthy, but I mean, man, I'm hoping that the hot streak happens at the right time. Now is not the time that I want it. I don't want the hot streak right now from the Chicago Cubs.
I'm sort of with you. Like, if they're going to play like this basically since the beginning of July, you might as well play like this a couple more weeks and then get a short hot streak when the postseason gets here. We got a super chat when we come back, but first, we are going to take a word from our sponsors, and we want to know from you,
yes,
do you think the Cubs are dead, as Niren suggests? First, a word from our sponsors.
Hey, Chicago sports fans, with the Bet365 early payout offer, you're a winner if your team goes up 17 points with an instant payout on straight bets, and parlay selections marked as winners. So download the app and use code CHGO365 when you sign up. The NFL season is here. They have Thursday Night Football, $10 safety net bet. They have Sunday Night Football's $365K jackpot. Place a bet for $10 on the first touchdown scored and get a split of $365,000 in bonus bets if your player scores the final touchdown of the game. Monday Night Football, 50% off super profit boost token on SGPs, 100% parlay boost. So double your winnings or parlays with Bet365's 100% parlay boost. Download the app and use code CHGO365 when you sign up. And remember, when you deposit $10 and place a bet for $5, you can get $300 in bonus bet if your bet wins or loses. So make sure you're 21 plus or older. And if you know someone that has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in-app only.
Let's get real for a second. The world's gone soft. Everybody gets a trophy just for showing up. Everything needs to be bubble wrap. Soda used to have some kick. Now it's all pretty colors and easy fizz. RC Cola is not just a soft drink. It's a damn good cola.
Oof.
The original cola doesn't fold under pressure. The OG in a cola world full of spineless soft drinks. No trends, no gimmicks, no glow up. RC hasn't changed their stripes since 1905 because they didn't need to. They also sent me this beautiful 1985 commemorative Chicago Bears World Champions cola. It's the same bold, crisp flavor it's always been. RC Cola tastes like a punch in the thirst. Do yourself a favor. Get some RC at your store. Stock up for Bears season. Back to school celebrations, Cubs playoffs. RC is the move for whatever you might be doing. And remember, it's not just a cola. It's a damn good cola.
Oof.
All right, welcome back. Cubs lose 4-1 to the Braves to start that series in Atlanta. And we are updating you on the game that you did not watch because you were probably watching the Bears game, to be perfectly honest.
Did the right thing.
Yeah, our guy Ramon, 1987, with a Toyota Super Chat says, we need to talk about Dustin Kelly, hitting coach. Your thoughts? End quote from Ramon. My thought, Ramon, is that hitting coaches are overrated. Everybody's mad at the hitting coach when the offense isn't going well. When the offense is doing well, nobody's saying, hey, how about that Dustin Kelly? I don't know. Was he a great coach in the first 3 months of the season, and then he's not a good coach now? I mean, let's be honest. Seiya Suzuki led the majors in RBI at the All-Star break. He's had like 13 cents.
Are we going to give MVP votes to Dustin Kelly?
I don't know. Is he the guy that's supposed to magically snap him out of it? I don't know. Like, some guys have started to hit better. He's not one of them. I just know that Elder was pitching tonight, and the first 10 batters of the game, 5 struck out for the Cubs. And apparently the Bears have a
pick
touchdown
six, Chicago Bears,
17-6. Braggs is losing his mind.
That is exactly 16 more points than the Cubs scored tonight.
You heard that live on the CHGO Cubs podcast, which, if you didn't know, a cub is a baby version of a bear.
It's true.
That's my science for the night. Anyways, what I was talking about, we were talking about Dustin Kelly and the offense. They didn't do much tonight. Let's be honest. They just did not do much. You get 1 sack fly from Matt Shaw.
Yeah.
I know it is frustrating. Like, the offense has been a real struggle after looking like, at the crazy part is, the beginning of the season, we kept saying, but wait a minute, this year's different because it does look sustainable this time because of the way they're doing it. And here we are, struggling offense late in the season.
I want to ask you, because you've done this for a long time, I feel like that the hitting coach is often a
scapegoat.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
A casual victim for the ire and failings of different Cubs offenses and production. Have you ever seen the fan base lay off of a hitting coach for as long this year as you have before? Because I feel like that might have happened several months ago.
I don't know. You know, it's funny that I heard Ian Happ on his podcast, The Compound, talking with guys about, you know, what does a hitting coach do and how much do you need to talk to a guy after an at-bat?
There's so much film now.
They made a fun suggestion, though, of every player should have their own hitting coach. That's how much information they now have to go through. And I'm all for Seiya Suzuki having his own hitting coach at this point.
Speak to a representative.
2 more strikeouts tonight. He was like, no, yeah, that guy could be in the on-deck circle with you as you're getting ready to go up, going over stuff. Each guy, is that the way baseball will go? I don't know. I don't know what to say about the offense. I don't. Like when you look at the season and the season's over, you're going to look at some guys and say, statistically, they had really good offensive seasons compared to what you were expecting out of them this year. Has it added up the last couple of months? No, it's been like a 500 team, and I would say a lot of that blame goes to the offense. I agree with that.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of ingredients that go into this that we've covered pretty exhaustively when we talk about Kyle Tucker and injury, when we talk about Pete Crow-Armstrong as a young player. We have some players in the lineup that are just straight streaky. I mean, Ian Happ and Dansby Swanson are streaky hitters. And I probably would also put Seiya Suzuki into that category.
Sure seems like it.
And then we also get into a lot of what does the lineup look like and should hitter hit in said place and why doesn't Craig do this and why doesn't Craig do that? If I could still beat that drum for one more player on a night like tonight, I'm just going to go out and say that the Michael Busch hitting leadoff experiment needs to end.
Over.
It needs to end. He also is a young player. And I will just tell you, hitting first, as a leadoff hitter this year, he's hitting 211, 278 on base, 423 slug, 699 OPS. Hitting cleanup, 272 with I want to get it right, 843 OPS, 367 on base percentage. I'm not saying you throw him in the cleanup spot and he magically reverts back to the player that he was in the beginning of the year, but doesn't that just tell you something, Luke, that there was a comfort level there, at least in those spots in the lineup? And I'm just at the point now where I'm starting to believe that Michael Busch simply isn't comfortable as a leadoff hitter. And on a night like tonight, when we talk a little bit about power and we talk about the one run that they scored was truly like the definition of manufacturing, grind out a run. They get a double. Willie Castro hits a ball to second. Dansby bounces the ball in a very, very weird play with the collision of the third baseman. Yeah. And then Matt Shaw hits a sac fly. Good for you. You get a run. But again, who was your best home run hitter in that lineup tonight? It's either Seiya Suzuki or Michael Busch. And I understand the adage that you want to get these guys the most at bats by hitting leadoff, but I would prefer Michael Busch in positions to succeed when there's more runners on base. And those are the type of questions that I'm asking myself a little bit, and there's more time to iron them out. But if I had one request, if we want to go line up on this one, Michael Busch at leadoff, just find somebody else, man. Nico Horner, Ian Happ, give me whatever. We need to move him into a different place and try and find some comfort there.
I'm with you 100% on that. I would just let Nico bat lead off against everybody right now until Ian.
Who's our most consistent hitter this year?
Yeah, until you can, if somehow you can get Happ back to playing and hitting the way you want him to, then I can put him back at the leadoff spot. But for right now, I would just put Nico there every single night. That's the way I would handle it. I don't know what the Cubs are going to do. You know, last week we talked about, hey, who's the one, if you have to have one guy and we agreed, PCA, and it's not PCA, it's Tucker that they have to get hot at the right time to have postseason. Man, and that's still true. So many other guys fall in line for second for that, right? Because that's just the way this offense is. But Seiya's struggle since the All-Star break is shocking, but Busch hasn't been great at the top of the lineup either. And I liked him there for a while. But when he's struggling, I don't want to see him struggling there.
Well, no, and that's the part is that I don't understand why they just keep running him out there. I mean, it's almost talking out of both sides of your mouth if you're not willing to have him start against left-handers, but you're also willing to run him out there consistently in the leadoff spot. And the numbers just are what they are. Just it really hasn't been great. There's been a couple of games, obviously I think about the St. Louis game, hitting the bomb in Anaheim. But other than that, though, I don't really see him igniting this offense. I don't see a lot of traffic on the base pass. My big thing that I always keep going back to and why the Cubs were scoring runs early on this year was that they were hitting for power, they were getting on base, and they were using their speed to their advantage.
Stealing bases, tons of walks.
And at some point, lineup configuration plays a part in how you want that to roll out. And it's funny that I will admit, on September 8th, the fact that we're still kind of like going over this a little bit and there still is some tinkering going on, I guess, is a decent reason for concern. But I do believe that the components are there to get it in place and get this team right. The only thing that also we're dealing with this week, and another reason why I would push back on this team is dead, is that take a step back on this a little bit and say to yourself, if I told you within the span of 7 to 10 days, which has been the last week or so, the Chicago Cubs would be dealing with injuries to their 2 outfielders that were the starting outfielders for the National League in the All-Star game, and also dealing with your closer, I would tell you that those are pretty important parts of your team. And the fact that you're trying to deal with that while also trying to win some games, thank God we're up 9 games in the wild card. We do not have to worry about playoffs and are we in or are we out. I'm telling you guys, we are in. It's a matter of who we're going to play and what's going to happen with that. But Chicago Cubs are dealing with some stuff right now, as they've dealt with throughout the season. But those 3 things happening at the same time, the Cubs have not dealt with that this season.
And I saw somebody in the chat just a couple back was calling us simps.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, maybe
Tell
not
me
us.
more.
Maybe just everybody in the chat, or maybe all of us. Yeah, right. Saying honestly, pathetic that making the playoffs is good enough for you simps.
No one's asked me how far we're going to go.
Listen,
Shaw 223.
It's not
SBA?
enough. It's not enough for me. What I want to see this year is win at least a playoff series. That's what I want.
100%.
Going into the season, if you would have told me what do I want to see from the Cubs? Yeah, the lowest bar was get to the playoffs. That's the lowest bar. They haven't lost a playoff game yet. Let's all settle down. Like, other teams are struggling mightily at the same exact time. Nobody's playing good baseball.
You're right in my head. Who scares you right now? Who scares you?
If you want to do a power ranking in the National League, all of the Brewers have cooled off.
The Padres and Dodgers are in a race to see who can lose more games faster. Right. The Mets aren't in great shape. The Phillies are dealing with injuries. I'm saying this isn't just a Chicago Cubs problem. A lot of these prominent teams,
it, but it's not.
Of course, because it's fair. We all love watching the Cubs more than we like watching other teams. That's all right. But sometimes if you look across the street, there are other teams dealing with issues too in a very long season that's hurtling towards a playoff. So, look, just making the playoffs ain't good enough for me. Let's go on the record. Let's just say it right now. And I think that they should not only get out of the wild card, but I think they can be incredibly competitive in the round after that. And I still think this team has the constitution, the talent, and the pieces to be a Final Four team and to be playing for a pennant this year. I really do believe that.
We the people. Oh, no, I don't remember how the rest of it goes. I just remember it was we the people, the Constitution. Listen, they've got to get some. There's no secret to what would turn the Cubs around. They got to get some of the guys hot. Yeah, did PCA look great tonight? No, he did not. First game back, PCA, how'd he look to you?
Had a shot. Had a real shot there. What was it? Bases loaded and first pitch rolled it right over to first.
He loves the
Elder
first
started
pitch.
leaving. Elder started leaving the curveball up a little bit later in that game, and Elder obviously has been some sort of magician that the Chicago Cubs watch, and then he does a magic trick, and they go, "How did he do that?" Because what is it? He pitched 13 and a third innings the last 2 starts over the last week. He's allowed 1 run. He struck out 12 Cubs. So clearly he's had their number, but I did think that he was leaving the ball up a little bit more. Michael Busch got that single. It started to line up a little bit, and PCA with an opportunity, bases loaded. I feel like we've said this before, Luke. Got a little maybe too anxious to seize the moment and rolls over a ball to first base. So that opportunity was there. You hope that PCA cashes in on it next time. He didn't tonight, and that's been a little bit of how it goes for PCA specifically the last 6 weeks.
Chef Kevin says, hey, the Cubs haven't won a playoff game in 8 years. Yeah, Chef, but they didn't have Ben Johnson as their head coach then. Oh, wrong game. I'm watching the Bears game while I'm talking Cubs baseball. It's all going on at one time.
If they fix the offensive line, Chef, we wouldn't be talking about that, would we?
They fixed the middle of the line. Now the Cubs are going to win a playoff game.
The last time the Bears won a playoff game was in 2010. So...
Lance Briggs.
Interesting. Let's get the whiteboard out here.
It's a long time.
Moral of the story, most Chicago sports haven't won a playoff team in
Well,
many
yeah,
years.
that's right.
Moral of the
Very
story, at this wonderful company, CHGO, we have not done a post-game playoff game yet, and the Chicago Cubs will be that first post-game playoff game that we're going to do here.
There we go.
So everybody strap in and get ready and jump in the chat and join along, because it will be fun no matter what.
Okay, we're going to talk about Daniel Palencia, what that injury means in just a second, but I have a question as we go to break. I said PCA, or rather Tucker, is the most important guy to get right? We all agree on that? Who's the most likely player to turn it around offensively when the Bears
I want to hear the chat.
I mean, there's a long list of guys you could say this guy could turn around, this guy could get out. Who's the most likely that you think will actually turn it around and help the Cubs here down the stretch and hopefully into the postseason? Let us know. But first, a word from our sponsors.
I want to talk about CHGO's Home Away from Home. It's Almost Home Tavern. If you're looking for the spot to catch your favorite games this season, we've got a place that checks all the boxes. It's chef-driven with elevated bar food that's locally inspired. They've got the best smash burger and tavern-style pizza. It's absolutely amazing. Not just about food, though. They offer tons of games, pools, darts, big buck hunters, shuffleboard, and more wall-to-wall TVs, perfect for watching literally any sport. And the owners, CHGO diehard members and massive Bears fans. Yes, the Bears are repped very hard at Almost Home Tavern. They've got you covered with beer gardens and TVs, so you're not missing a thing, rain or shine. Just a block north of Wrigley Field, so it's the ideal place pregame, during the game, postgame. It's a Cubs spot. It's a Bears spot. It's an Almost Home spot. Daily specials and happy hour that's actually worth your time. So make sure you go over there and check out our Home Away from Home, CHGO's favorite place to check out a game, Almost Home Tavern.
It's where we hang out. All right, athletes, here's a question. Are you serious about leveling up your game? Because the right coach can change everything. And now, finding one is easy with Eye on the Ball. Doesn't matter if you're a kid just starting out or competing at the top level. You can sign up totally free at eyeontheball.net. Create your profile, search through the coaches in your sport, connect directly with the one that's right for you. From soccer to swimming, baseball to basketball, you name it, the coaches are just right there. So what are you waiting for? Your future coach could be one click away. Jump on today at eyeontheball.net. That's eyeontheball.net. Find your coach and take your game to the next level. This is for athletes of all levels. And the opposite is true the other way too, right? If you're a coach and you're looking for guys to train, that's the place to do it. Eyeontheball.net. By the way, great people. They are CHGO fans.
That's the spirit. Love to hear it. Love to see it.
They support us. We support them. Cubs lose 4-1. In case you're wondering and you're, jumping away from the Bears game, they are winning 17-6 at the moment as we tape this live.
Bear down.
So Chicago sports life, it's pretty good.
Right.
We're doing okay.
Right now, the Bears could be undefeated at the end of the night, and the Cubs could be headed to the postseason, I believe.
Still on pace to win 92, 93 games.
So the question I asked before the break was, who's the most likely one to break out of this, right? In time for it to matter, or when it will matter. And Cam is saying Hap. Don't think Tucker, PCA, and Seiya will do it. Bobby Blanco thinks PCA.
Bobby.
You know what? I asked the question because I don't really know. I don't know what my answer is for that.
So I have to be fair with myself that I took Ian Happ for a spin at the beginning of August because he had really good career splits in the month of August, and this is historically throughout his career a time when he's turned it around, and those numbers, even if they're down a little bit, return back up to that baseline that we all expect from Ian Happ.
Pretty consistent.
And Ian Happ has played better. I will say that. Look, I got to be honest with you guys. I'm not touching Seiya with a 10-foot pole on this pick. I'm just not. It's a little mystifying to me. He's getting on base a little bit more, but man, he is one guy that can square the baseball better than a lot of these guys in this lineup, and just simply hasn't been doing it for such a long stretch of time. So, having said that, I'm going to go with my guy, Bobby Blanco, in the chat. I'm going to go with PCA. And it's Monday Night Football, Chicago Bears, Week 1, Chicago Cubs, on pace to at least play some playoff games that, for the record, I think they are going to win a few and make some noise in October. If I can get meatball with it, I am sticking to this concept that I think PCA, when it matters the most, is a guy who maybe he gets a little ahead of himself in these big moments. Maybe he does try a little bit too hard because he wants it so bad. But give me that player every day of the week. And I think that instead of shrinking or getting frightened at the moment or second guessing yourself, I do believe that PCA at some point will right the ship, we'll get back to maybe a version, maybe not MVP Pete, but I do think he will get back to the version of hitting some balls over the fence, hitting the ball hard. And if I had to pick one player in the lineup right now, I'm going to ride Pete Crow-Armstrong, especially down the stretch. Maybe being the type of player. And look, let's be honest. If he does do what I'm saying right now or what all Cubs fans are asking for, he is such a galvanizer in that lineup. When you talk about Kyle Tucker and what he does at the plate and how it permeates throughout the lineup, I think the same can also be said for PCA. So I want to root for that. And I do think that he is capable of that.
My hesitation with saying PCA is that I think sometimes he gets a little amped up.
He's a wild stallion.
Right?
He's an untamed horse.
Right. So I think when the postseason comes, and it will come, we promise.
Just wait.
You're going to get one of two PCAs. You're either going to get, what is he swinging at? That only works when he's hot and he's swinging at the ball out of the zone. You're either going to get that guy and you're going to be frustrated, or you're going to get total electricity, where all of baseball's like, that's the guy. That's the guy they were talking about. And I don't know. Do I think he rises to the occasion? Yes. I also think he gets a little... All right, you've convinced me. You know why? Plays well in California. He likes to get up for the moment.
That's a good one.
Likes to play well in California, and there's a chance they're playing the Dodgers or the Padres.
The zip code is no joke. His numbers...
So just for that reason, I'll say PC. I think Nico's the most likely to be consistent.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like maybe Dansby is having his good stretch
now.
Now?
Keep it going.
I would agree that the least likely for me is Seiya, because his has gone on for a long time, and when he looks bad, man, he can look bad.
I'm not going to pretend to have answers when it comes to Seiya Suzuki. I mean, we've asked for certain players to have some days off and take a step back. And we've seen Craig Counsell do it to those said players. He has not done that to Seiya Suzuki once, in my opinion, yet this year. So I don't really understand that. I see a lot of people in the chat. I've seen several comments now, and I appreciate the comments of why aren't we just bringing up Casey and Moises Ballesteros, and why aren't we just playing them? My only question for that, and when we're talking about the lineup and who's going to get hot and who's going to get, who's hot, who's not, all that stuff, just ask yourself the question, are you really prepared to saying, what have you done for me yesterday? And if Owen Casey and Moises Ballesteros give you 30 at-bats and they beat up on the Pirates later this week, is that really going to convince you that they need to be starting game 1 and game 2 of a playoff series?
Against Yamamoto.
Right. And are you going to be...
Whoever.
But are you going to be looking back and saying, I don't know, Michael King, Dylan Cease, whatever. Are you really going to be looking back and then saying, well, gosh, we had some young players in those moments, and they, maybe they didn't rise to the occasion. Will you be kicking yourself for that? In my opinion, I understand the sentiment because we want production and we want it right now. But we are so deep into this season right now that I believe that we need to take words out of Craig's mouth. We need to trust the process a little bit, and these guys need to work through these issues, hell or high water. At some point, these are some of the horses that you rode here with. And just because Moises Ballesteros gives you 7 to 10 days, does that mean that he's going to provide that exact same production in a high octane, high leverage, high pressure October situation? I have more question marks about that than, giving those at bats continuously to Ian Happ. Do you really want? And my other question is, if you get that for 7 to 10 days and it's all great and it's hunky dory, are you taking away at bats from guys that you would start in a playoff game that you do need to get right? So what's the trade off there? In my opinion, I like both of those players. I think that they're both incredibly talented, and I'd love to see them in the mix next year for this team. But giving them a ton of run right now, don't blame me, blame Craig. They should have done that 6 weeks ago. We're a little too far down the road on that one.
I'm not that it's too far, but I do want to see them give some guys some rest. Mm-hmm. PCA, Tucker, we've kind of seen the same. First it was Tucker, then it was PCA. Actually, last year it was Seiya that got that treatment. Take a couple of days off. I like to see Seiya sit a little bit. I would, because to me that's the nuclear move for the Cubs.
Yeah, the chat's kind of
like,
on it.
I don't know what else you do with him other than sit the guy. I don't know. Give him the mental break.
Yeah, swinging in an empty stadium might be more mental than mechanical. I mean, there's
fine, whatever.
He's working on it, but it ain't working. So
I think
what's the next step?
I think if Tucker and PCA were both healthy right now, and it sounds like Tucker's probably back. I want to say probably back tomorrow. Pre-game council said another good day, a lot of progress. It's possible he's back real soon.
And real quick, can we DH him for a couple days when he does come back, right? Can we just...
Yes, I'd like to keep him away from any wall.
Okay. Yeah.
Any wall possible.
Any wall, any diving liner, all that stuff.
But if they were both perfectly healthy, then I think Seiya would have already had that rest. So I still hope that's coming. Now, why you can't do that with just bringing up Casey and putting him in there... Listen, these games are not about wins and losses right now. If you play 500 baseball, which you're doing when you're in this quote-unquote 3-month slump,
yeah,
then it doesn't matter. You're going to get in the postseason anyway. I know you'd like to be the number one wild card and all that, but I would like to see Seiya get some rest, and pretty quick here.
Yeah, and look, I think, and to be very clear, I think you're providing a good calibration to what I said. Where, like, let's just be clear that if we're talking about a start or two to give a guy a blow and give some at-bats, I'm all for it. They're both talented players, and we have Kevin Alcantara up here. We played Willie Castro in center field tonight, and let's be honest, Willie Castro's versatility is very nice, but the bat is cooled off. So if you want to give those at-bats, those 1 or 2 starts a week to some of those players, I'm all for it. I think what I was more referencing and what they were saying is that we should be sitting regulars and letting these guys play 7-10 games in a row and giving them 30-40 at-bats in the middle of September. So maybe there's some more middle ground there. And I would agree with you. Giving them a little run is fine, but thinking that they're like the answer, they're the solution to our offensive problems right now, I think that's not the right thinking, and I think we're a little bit too far down the road for that.
We have spent a lot of time the last couple months trying to figure out, hey, how can this part get right? How can that part get right?
I know.
How can this player get better?
Yeah.
How can whether it's pitching one side, maybe it's the bullpen for a week, then it's the offense. The one consistent, though, has definitely been the offense. Now, the big news today was also Daniel Palencia to the 15-day injured list. And Craig Counsell said, hey, we're going to take the next 3 days and kind of see where we go from there, right? Like how that's going to progress before they're calling it a right shoulder strain. I just didn't like how the guy didn't even move his right arm.
Yeah.
Didn't even move his throwing arm as he was coming off the mound, heading into the dugout. Best case scenario, maybe he pitches once or twice. If everything's fine, which I'm not sure. I mean, how many regular season games is he going to be throwing in? And if he is able to throw in those games, is that enough to get you excited about, hey, all right, he's full go, ready to go for the 3 most important outs of the season? It's a big problem. It's a big problem.
It stinks.
It terrible
stinks,
timing,
Luke,
yeah.
because we had just probably gotten to the point where we started to really trust and bank on Daniel Palencia being there for us in these big moments and in these big games. At the beginning of the year, again, everyone would agree, right, that if you said Daniel Palencia is going to be our closer and everything's going to be awesome, we would have some healthy skepticism about that. So it's a little bit of a house money situation in terms of having him, not having him, but we had grown accustomed to, and I thought you guys did a really good job, you and Kevin last night on the show, and we've talked about this before, about
Credit to us.
big credit to you, about just how the bullpen's been deployed and how we can use Brad Keller in different matchups, but Daniel Palencia just lives in that 9th inning, and you don't have to worry about him too much or moving him around, and you can create a nice game plan in the back half of the game around Daniel Palencia there in the 9th. Not a doctor. Hi, not a doctor. But I'm curious over the next 3 days. When they say 3 days, my interpretation of that is he's probably dealing with some soreness, probably dealing with some inflammation, and they want to see if that can subside over the next couple of days. The one that I would probably, if you're a Cubs fan, maybe keep an eye on is what would be the next step for that? If they shut him down from throwing for let's just say 7 to 10 days, man, I have to be honest, I would just beg all Cubs fans out there to just take him off the card. And if he comes back, that's great. And start to plan that we might have to run this thing through without him around. It's one thing to have an injury and then come back and then you hear he's doing long toss or he's throwing off flat ground. He threw 10 pitches in a bullpen, felt okay. We're going to see how it goes. Those are all signals that means that he can possibly work his way back with maybe a rehab start and maybe be back by, September 28th, the Cardinals series, and maybe make a playoff roster in October. If they're shutting him down from not throwing at all because of inflammation, and then they try and ramp him back up, the timing is such that I don't know if he would exactly be able to help you unless we go to an NLCS situation. And there's a lot of different things to deal with at that point. So it's tough, man. I feel really bad for him. I personally don't really assess any blame in any particular place. Craig, I hear, you guys said Craig should have taken him out. I think that's a fair thing to think, but I'm not assessing the injury on that particular decision. And really tough for a player who throws super hard, throws 101 miles an hour. And if you want Daniel Palencia back on your team, you want that 101. And we'll see over those next 3 days. We'll probably get some more comments. And then from there, we can speculate some more because we're not doctors. But, man, really tough blow for the Cubs bullpen. And like they've had to do in other areas this year, starting rotation and now the closer, they got to find other guys to pick up the slack.
Cubs have done a pretty good job of, especially in the offseason this year, finding guys that can help that you don't expect to help. Well, some of them that you had hoped would help didn't, right? Like Merriweather was not a help this season. Presley was not really a help this season.
Yeah, we've done Eli Morgan, not a help this season.
Eli Morgan. So you have 3 there. Brazier's not been what I hoped Brazier was going to be coming out of the Dodgers bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, you'd like to get him healthy and hope that he can find something before the end of the season. Kittredge was a pickup that has been successful so far. Yeah, I hope Soroka can add to that mix and be one of those bullpen arms. I'm still not, even with, if you tell me today Palencia is not pitching again in 2025, which is possible, I'm still not as worried about the bullpen as I am about the offense.
Yeah, 100%. Right? Because and look, I feel that Brad Keller and Andrew Kittredge can throw 9th inning outs. I firmly believe that. I think that the job now of Craig Counsell is to find out who can cover the 6th and 7th inning, and we've seen not the reemergence but the return of Porter Hodge. And can Porter Hodge possibly be a guy? And again, I've said it, I would like to see maybe another clean outing from him here or there. And I'm not saying throw him into a dirty inning in the 8th inning with runners on. I'm not suggesting that. But if you can find somebody, Aaron Savali gave up a home run. I've seen it in the chat here. Aaron Savali's done fine. Can you find people to cover outs in the 6th or 7th inning and then create a 6-out triangle of Keller, Kittredge, and Thielbar? And if that's the case, I'm with you because I do think they have guys that can step into the role and maybe not throw the heat that Palencia was throwing.
Hodge
even though Brad Keller can pump some heat too as well. But I do think we have guys to cover those spots. I think the idea now is to figure out who's going to bridge and get you there. And then, of course, not to belabor the point, we have to be in a position to win those games, so we have to score runs to even be in this position to have this conversation, to be very fair. So one step in front of the other. But no, I'm not that worried about the bullpen, and thankfully, credit to what they've done depth-wise. We've never really been terrified of what happened to some of the situations with the starting rotation either. They have found different guys to step up. And I will also say, I will reiterate, if you guys weren't here with the show last night, this is a credit to you. This is a Luke Stuckey special right here. Javier Assad later in the game. Yeah. I think that's a great outside the box
man.
Yeah, he's a yes man. But I think that's a great outside the box guy that we trust that can come in and maybe cover some outs that he's never covered before in his career. So I think there's some guys that you can throw into the role. Just different people have to step up and play different roles and maybe play bigger roles than they have early on in the year.
We'll see how it all unfolds. We've only got like 10 minutes left in the show. I do want to talk a little in the last like 5 minutes just a little fun with Cubs who could have played football. Because we saw one of them. I'll give my teaser. We saw one of them this weekend. Derek Lee could have played some football.
Oh my God.
Derek Lee could have been a tight end, rumbling down the middle.
Derek
knocking
Lee,
people over.
Tight end. And on the flip side, how many home runs does Mike Ditka hit? 73, 74.
Well,
in one game?
Cole Kmet loves to come take BP and hit him out at Wrigley.
Yeah, he's got a nice...
So it's easier to flip it, maybe.
He's got a nice launch angle with his swing. I think his feet move a little bit too much in the box, you know what I mean, when he winds up and he knocks it out there, but he's definitely got those vibes. So, yeah, so this is a great question. And my question for the chat would be, and we're having some fun here. If who on the Chicago Cubs
17-6 Bears.
17-6 Bears, by the way, and they're driving. Who in the chat, I want you guys to know, or tell us, excuse me, who would be on the Chicago Cubs the quarterback of this said football team?
Oh, the quarterback.
Yeah, who exactly?
Well, it's usually the most athletic like the quarterback is the guy that's super athletic as a kid, right?
Yes.
Or it's somebody who's got some height to him.
Or very good looking, because Dansby obviously gets into that category.
I'm going to suggest that the quarterback is probably a pitcher because of the throwing.
Our boy.
But it could be PCA running shotgun.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, if we were going to go for like a rookie type of vibe, like a Caleb Williams in his second year, PCA.
Oh, PCA is
because PCA is probably the fastest one on the team.
Yes,
is he Tyreek Hill running down, catching passes for 65 yards, or is he? Yeah,
PCA.
Is it Cade Horton throwing to PCA?
PCA has that leadership in him. That's the thing. Like with Dansby, Dansby's athletic. Don't get me wrong, but he's not like a leader. You know, like I don't see him as that captain.
Well, Craig and some others, De La Cruz, they're pointing out the obvious one, and that is, well, Cade Horton was a quarterback at Oklahoma.
Well,
I know. You're right.
Settles it.
That's fair. And like I said, it's generally a pitcher.
Yeah. Carson Kelly's
John Elway drafted by the Yankees.
Carson Kelly's like your left tackle.
Not uncommon. Yeah. The quarterback thing, though, which pitcher? It might be like Matthew Boyd.
Oh,
a left-handed quarterback.
Matthew Boyd's a good one. He's definitely in the
Brad Keller. No.
He's got a so Matthew Boyd has a lot of career parallels to Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
I think he was a highly touted prospect that they brought up with the Tigers, flashed for a second, went down. In Baker's case, he was ineffective. Matthew Boyd dealt with injuries. Got a little bit of a spurt with the Guardians and also the Rams, and then went to a new location, went to a new spot on a great money deal. And all of a sudden became the player that I think everyone hoped and thought that he would be at the beginning of his career.
I just hope at the end of this Bears season, and it's going well so far tonight, I just hope that Cade Horton isn't the best quarterback in town at the end of this season. Right?
Then
I hope he's the best pitcher and fourth or fifth on the quarterback list.
That's a great one.
Matt
Shaw, running back, I would give him the rock 20 times a game. No doubt. All day long.
No, too small.
Too small, really?
Too small. I could see Nico being a little bit of a running back. Did he play football at Stanford at all? No, I don't believe so.
I'm trying to remember.
Low to the ground.
If the check can help us out.
Little offensive line. I like that one, Rob.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
good.
Yeah, big, strong, road grader.
Steele likes to talk football.
Where are we putting Kyle Tucker on a football team? Is he offense or defense? I still see him as offense.
Gifted, but
So Kyle Tucker to me feels like Mike Evans on the Buccaneers. He's a big, tall receiver who's good in the red zone.
You know, that's right.
Maybe he's not a burner, but if you throw the ball up to Kyle Tucker's catching the ball.
I see Kyle Tucker as a tight end.
That's also a good one too.
Yeah.
We're thinking the same
kind of vibe. In
go
that
out
sense.
and get it.
Yeah. Because I see him having big plays, but he's not always that go-to. But he has those big, strong plays.
Craig, I liked Seiya as the running back. Seiya's built.
Seiya actually is pretty big.
That's not bad. Seiya is the running back. What about, I think, Lou Piniella as the kicker because he liked to kick a lot of dirt and stuff. I don't know. I know it's a stupid
Can you
topic.
imagine? I know this is dumb, but I'm having fun with it. Can you imagine Craig Counsell putting in an offensive call play to you? X23. I mean,
yeah.
Let's go X9 drag.
Justin Turner is 100% defense front line.
Justin Turner's your defensive end.
The vet, he's the Jason Kelce. I see Justin Turner.
Yes, and like maybe Nico Horner's like a great strong safety.
Yeah,
who's just picking balls off left and right and running them back. Maybe cleaning someone's
Turner.
clock.
Yeah, I like Turner as
a
Kelce. Eagles Kelce.
I could see Tyone as a big quarterback. Often injured big quarterback that's not mobile enough to get out of the pocket.
Could the Cubs win 10 NFL games? Anybody. Could the Cubs win 10 NFL games?
No, they couldn't win one.
No, I don't think so. And they missed. Bears missed a field goal. Still only 17-6.
17.
PCA could be a Barry Sanders kind of guy. See, that's the thing is that like I think we were all trying to figure out where to put PCA, but maybe PCA is that like he's put him wherever. Just get the ball in his hands. Run him on an end around.
I mean,
get him the ball in the backfield.
Run
him with a little bubble screen.
Now wait a minute. One person that we forgot. Ian Happ is by far the best golfer on the team. He's already elite at a second sport. Now, a lot of these guys are probably elite at a second sport, but Ian Happ is a terrific golfer.
Cornerback.
Might he be good at something?
Who's our kicker?
Well, I said Lou Piniella, former Cubs manager, because he liked to kick the dirt. But otherwise, I don't know. Kicker.
What if it was Andrew Kittredge with his really slow windup, and he does the same slow windup before he kicks it, and then go.
I would let former Cub Vidal Brujan be my kicker / punter.
He's the punt returner
because every time he was in the game with the Cubs, it was punting.
It was.
Is that too mean? When Brujan was in, the Cubs were punting. So if he was on a football team, he would also be punting.
You be careful. We're still playing the Braves. You are going to see him in the next 2 days.
Right.
You better be really careful.
Revenge game.
Thank God we have Cade Horton on the mound. Cade Horton on the mound tomorrow, and then Javier Assad versus Chris Sale in the hopefully the rubber match of this series.
By the way, all the people that said Sale was not possible to be tradable because he was going to be out for the rest of the season. How would Chris Sale look in your rotation?
Don't even.
Right now.
Cracked ribs.
Now, the Braves basically feel like they're going to be right back in it next year, so they may not have entertained that conversation at all. But I would have been willing to trade for an injured pitcher in Chris Sale because he would have been motivated to pitch in the postseason.
He was the one guy who I thought he's
wouldn't
very
solve the offense,
but he's very Justin Steele like. It would have been a complete replacement, and the guy is a veteran. The guy's won a Cy Young before. He has great stuff. We wouldn't be having the game one starter conversation with Chris Sale. Just really quick, since we're in this hypothetical,
it'd be Horton 1, Sale 2.
Well, the hypothetical realm is if it was Chris Sale, I'm still not trading Matt Shaw, or I'm not trading Cade Horton either. I'm not trading either of those guys.
Now that you've seen the potential of Cade Horton,
I don't think
absolutely not.
DeGrom, Chris Sale, any of the guys that we were kind of floating out there. Right. Mackenzie Gore is an obvious one, even though I like Mackenzie Gore like a whole lot, and they should probably.
Would I have traded Casey for Chris Sale? Yes, I would have. And Mo Baller too.
100%. Jackson Wiggins probably too. Let's be real. It's Chris Sale. I mean, when we were talking about all those guys. Even Mackenzie Gore, I would have put a guy like DeGrom, and even with the money, but a guy like DeGrom and Chris Sale were still on another shelf, a higher shelf, a higher tier than even those guys that we were talking about around the deadline. So I think I would have expanded my package, but I would not have included Cade Horton or Matt Shaw in either of them.
Thanks to everybody that joined us for the CHGO Cubs
Sickos,
podcast.
We love you.
Presented by Toyota and Bet365. We appreciate you in the chat. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out. Give us a positive review. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell a total stranger about the YouTube page. And for those of you, again, listening in podcast form, again, we did you the favor of having not to watch the game. And then, as you can tell by the end of this podcast, even that was difficult to spend a whole hour talking Cubs baseball. So we talked a little bit of everything. Did you have something to say in the last 10 seconds, Sarah?
I was just going to remind people that we did have our first Bears tailgate today.
Oh,
so
yeah.
if you guys all head to All City Network, or what is our website? Allcity.com. CHGO.com. You'll find us. Just look up CHGO Sports. We had our first official CHGO tailgate today. So
Die Hard Tailgate tier gets you and a friend in. That's all part of the tailgate tier,
Absolutely.
So that's sweet.
I just want to give people a little reminder.
Food was good. Vibes were good. And so far it's working, although the Vikings just scored. Great time to end this podcast. Thanks for checking out the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by Toyota and Bet365. Back tomorrow night after Game 2 of the series. Until then, fly the W. Bear.
We all silly like the mayor.